What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Social Club where everyone has a voice. I'm your host, Jacob Hale, and I'm just going to get right into it because I can't believe that me, of all people, have to make a video like this. But listen, like, follow, subscribe, check all of our content out. We post a lot of things. But let me get right into it, all right? I am talking about Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. We have received a lot of hate over our Drake comments off of Drake's new album, of course, some sexy songs for you. And I'm gonna review the album, give my 2 cents on it, but really overall, I'm gonna talk about the Drake and Kendrick beef because I can't believe in 2025 we are still talking about this beef. It is insane. But here we go. Let me just make something very clear. I am actually not a diehard Drake fan. Like, I recognize he makes very great music, but Drake was never my favorite artist. And this video is going to make it seem like I am the biggest Drake fan when I'm really not. I recognize he's great. I like his music, but I'm pretty open minded. Good music is good music all around. So I'm not really that biased. However, I do have a very strong opinion about this that I'm going to share with you guys. So let me just get one thing very clear with you guys is that this beef saved Kendrick's career. Let's just be honest. It saved his career. Without this beef, this man would be very irrelevant at this point. And it really showed. If you looked at his previous work, actually, tell me the name of his previous album before GNX. Just comment that down below. Tell me the name of his previous album. You're not gonna know. It wasn't that good. It really wasn't. And I do like Kendrick, and there's a time and a place to listen to Kendrick Lamar music, but he has not had the same production as he had lately. And the credit to him, I always just assumed that he's made great money. He was on the other adventures, business wise and family and everything like that. So I wasn't even expecting to try to get more Kendrick music as I would with other artists, right? But let me be clear about that. It's that this beef saved Kendrick Lamar's career. Absolutely. And you can tell it did because he's still trying to find ways to milk this beef at this point when it's been, man, at least 8 months. At least. I remember when this beef first started, I believe it was summer of 2024 when this first started coming out. I gotta check when he dropped that album with Future because I think that was the actual start of the beef. But anyway, regardless, yeah, I mean, just Kendrick should be thankful that Drake even cared enough to even make a beef, which sounds kind of crazy, but honestly, though, Kendrick was in a really bad spot creatively of not making good music over the past, and having something like this really rejuvenated his career. However, I think at this point he has completely milked the situation, and I would like him to just focus more on making better music than keep trying to troll and make this about Drake. And then, honestly, the biggest example of this is the Super Bowl halftime show. I personally did not like it. I understood kind of the premise, but here's what I'll say. There's a lot of people that are going to argue is that the halftime show was supposed to be bad. This was him standing up to white supremacy and the president was there and he had a message to send to them and this is for America and all that stuff. And I get that. I think there's a bunch of production stuff that he did that went very well. However, the thing that I disagreed on was one, his music choice. I think there are a lot better Kendrick Lamar songs that would have had a better display of his talent and his range that he did not utilize, which I didn't quite understand. And I think that hurts him more than help him in trying to make that point that he was trying to make. And more importantly, the real hype of this halftime show was really just him trolling Drake and playing Not Like Us. Let's be honest. That was the actual attention. That's what pulled us in. That's what we wanted to see was really him to just play Not Like Us in the stadium and everyone goes crazy, which unfortunately people did not go crazy and they had to funnel in music and noise to make it seem like the stadium was in on it when they really weren't at all. But more importantly, again, Kendrick Kendrick touts as being the number one guy. There is no big three, it's just big me type of thing, right? So with that being said, I don't agree that he should keep trying to troll Drake because again, you think you're the number one. So why do you keep having to aim lower in this regard if you think you're better than him and keep trying to get his attention when you should just focus on making better music? And with that being said, let's talk about GNX. GNX, there was a lot of anticipation for that album. And at the beginning, the album has done very well, right? Um, and there's plenty of stats to prove that. So I'm not a complete hater. I can recognize that the album sold pretty well at the beginning. However, listening to that album in an unbiased stance, I don't think there's a lot of replay value in that album. I think going into the summer and really going into 2026, people are not listening to that album. No one's going to listen to a song off of that thing. The only two songs that might still have some replay value in the next 6 to 12 months would be his feature with SZA, that song, and of course, Not Like Us, but really Not Like Us only because it's a really good club song. So the replay value is still going to be there in the club. All the other songs I think are going to be completely irrelevant. Everyone, I know this is the part where you comment down below. What about TV off? You forgot about TV off. Listen, TV off is a TikTok song. What does that mean? A TikTok song is a song that no one actually listens to. They just cut a portion of about 20 seconds of the song that they use for their clips. And if you don't believe me, what you can do right now, you can comment down below and you can tell me what are the two sentences, two bars, the rhyme scheme. Tell me the words that he said right before the beat changed and he yelled, Mustard. Tell me what the lyrics were right before that without looking it up. I guarantee you can't do that. I guarantee it. You do not know the lyrics. And that's kind of my point because that wasn't a part of the little clip that everyone's posting. This 20-second clip, that's what makes it a TikTok song. Once that goes out of style, I don't think anyone's listening to that song in particular. And for the rest of the album, good, not great. I don't I haven't really appreciated a lot of Kendrick's projects recently. The last one that I've really enjoyed was Damn. I thought that was a great album. I like what he brought to the table. But all the ones after that, I haven't really cared for that much. And I think we will look at GNX in the long run as that as well. Now, on the contrary, going with Drake with Some Sexy Songs for You, everyone wants to be a hater for that song or for that album only because they're still stuck that Kendrick is still beefing with Drake when Drake clearly has moved on with this project. Two things I really like about this album, why I think it's a better album than GNX, is that number one, this is actually what we wanted. People have been begging for Party Next Door and Drake to collab for a very long time. So it's great for them to actually do that. And number two, people want to say that this isn't a great album, this isn't a classic and anything like that. Well, number one, this project is significantly better than what Drake has produced for the last at least 4 to 5 years for sure. Well, and also when people say they don't like this album, I'm so confused because this album literally has a little bit of everything. It has some slow songs featuring with Party Next Door, which I really enjoy. It has some party songs, and Drake is still rapping, which Drake is a very underrated lyricist. I can't believe I'm saying this. Very underrated lyricist. Sidebar, in that diss, in when they were dissing each other, Drake was actually a better lyricist than Kendrick Lamar. However, Kendrick Lamar had better timing, which made him won the beef. Which, if you want me to say that out loud, let me just make that clear to you guys. Yes, Kendrick Lamar won the beef. I agree. He won. I think Drake had a better diss song. I think Family Matters will go down as one of the greatest diss songs of all time. It would have been number one if Drake actually won the beef, but go listen to that song again. It's one of the greatest diss songs I ever heard. But again, Drake lost. I agree. Drake lost. Kendrick won. All right. So let's move on from that. Let's just talk about the music again. I can understand why people don't like Drake. I'm not here to defend Drake. I'm not a crazy huge fan in that regard. You know, Drake has done a lot of things wrong and rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. With that being said, for the average person, you guys have never met Drake. You have no way of confirming anything that they have ever said about Drake. You're kind of just along for the ride, to be honest with you. A lot of these people were huge Drake fans, and then as soon as it felt like he was losing, now they have an opinion about Drake. You guys never cared. Drake has been the same person for the last 10 to 15 years. You guys really don't care. Let's be honest about that. I think Drake needs more appreciation from the artist perspective, not the person. And why I respect him a lot more is that I've come to realize at this point that all the top rappers that we've known to love, the ASAP Rockies of the world, the Lil Uzi Verse, the Travis Scotts, even the Kanyes of the world, they don't produce enough music. They're not producing music. They're just not. Not like what Drake is doing. I can appreciate, even if I don't like all of Drake's projects, that he's at least still consistently producing music when one, he really doesn't have to. And more importantly, he's the top dog. He's the top dog and he's still leading the way by producing a lot of music. There's a lot of middle tier rappers that aren't even that big, that couldn't even sell out a show that's not producing as much music as Drake is, with the same amount of quality and attention to detail and everything like that. So I think that's a real lost art form in the music industry. And honestly, it's a real void that I've come to notice. Is that all these big artists just really aren't producing music anymore. And it's strange. And I was a huge ASAP Rocky fan, but I don't think he's a rapper anymore. I really don't. I haven't heard a snippet or anything. I think he's really done rapping, which good for you. You make the money, you do what you want. But people need to understand that with Drake is that Drake has been around for so long. We take it for granted the production that he does, the consistency that he has, and how his music actually makes us feel. I guarantee you that you are going to play Drake way before you play Kendrick in a car, at the club, going on a run, relaxing with your friends. I guarantee it. I guarantee it 100%. You are always going to play Drake before you play Kendrick. And with that being said, that's all I want to acknowledge. Is that at the end of the day, Drake is still a better artist, produces more music, way more consistent, way better music than what Kendrick is. However, Kendrick did win the beef. So this is all we have. This is what we're stuck on right now. So had to get my thoughts out. Hopefully that clears things up. You know, again, do you guys appreciate this? Go ahead and comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Stay on the lookout for a lot of the other things that we have going on. This is kind of a sidebar talking about Drake and Kendrick, but there's more things that we have in store that we're talking about. And if you guys want us to talk more about music or anything else, just let us know. Have no problem doing this, even though you guys are crazy and you guys have been blowing up our page with a lot of your comments, which we greatly appreciate. But other than that, I will be reading you guys' comments going it's gonna happen soon. I will be reading you guys' comments and giving you live feedback on that. So please enjoy that. But other than that, you guys take care and I'll see you in the next one.